Because rational expressions are basically fractions, just with more complicated numerator and denominator, we're going to need to review a lot of our skills for working with fractions as we work with rational expressions. So let's review how we go about simplifying a fraction. Recall that two fractions are equivalent if they represent the same number. A fraction is in lowest terms if its numerator and denominator are as small as possible, and it includes at most one negative sign. And to simplify a fraction is to write its equivalent in lowest terms. We can simplify a fraction by canceling any common factors between the numerator and the denominator. So here we have the fraction 12/16, and we notice that 4 is a common factor of 12 and 16. And now 3 and 4 have no remaining common factors. So 3/4 is in lowest terms. Here we have -15 over -10. Notice this includes two negative signs, so I'm going to need to cancel a negative common factor. -15 is -5 times +3. -10 is -5 times +2. I'll cancel the -5. And that's 3/2. This last fraction contains only one negative sign. We notice that 18 and 21 have 3 as a common factor. 18 is 3 times 6. -21 is 3 times -7. We can cancel the common 3 and write this as 6 over -7. Now, we don't really like to write negative signs in the denominator. We would prefer to write this as -6 over +7, or just the negative fraction 6/7. But these are all equivalent. It's easy to see the equivalence, and so any of these we could say is in lowest terms. We can look at all of these and see that they're equal, so we don't need to be fussy about where the negative sign goes. Now, for these examples, the method that we used to find the common factor that canceled was looking at them and knowing the answer. And depending on how well you've memorized your multiplication tables, you may or may not have been able to look at those and know the answer. In this next example, I think that none of us can look at it and know the answer. Here we want to simplify the fraction 252 over 540. And the method that we're going to use to simplify this is similar to the method that we're going to use when we simplify rational expressions. And that is that we're going to factor our numerator and denominator into primes. So we're starting with 252 over 540. We're going to go off to the side and take 252. Well, I know that that's a multiple of 2. So 2 goes into 252. Doing that division, this is 2 times 126. Well, 2 goes into that again. This is going to be 2 times 63. Oh, and now I'm happy, because 63, I know, is 7 times 9. 7 is prime. 9 is 3 times 3. These 2's are also prime, and now I've fully factored 252. It's 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 7. Right, I've got 2 2's, 2 3's, and a 7. Now I'm also going to factor 540 into primes. And because my last digit's 0, that gives me a fast way to get started. This is 54 times 10. 54, I know, is 6 times 9. 6 is 3 times 2, and those are prime. 9 is 3 times 3, and those are prime. 10 is 2 times 5, and those are prime. So let's see. I'm going to have two 2's. So 2 times 2. I have 1, 2, 3 3's. So 3 times 3 times 3. And then I have a 5. So times 5. So my 252 over 540, factoring the numerator and denominator into primes, I get 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 7 for my numerator. 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 5 for my denominator. And now I have a common factor of 2, another common factor of 2, a common factor of 3, another common factor of 3. And then I have a 7 in the numerator. In the denominator, I'm left with a 3 and a 5. So I'm left with 7 over 3 times 5, or 7 over 15. 252 over 540 simplifies to 7/15.